Welcome to another fun episode of Photoshop Party. Hopefully it won't be as fun as last time, but we're going to have fun anyway. Not quite as much. I got a couple of fun things to do. A couple of people sent me images to take a look at, see if we could fix them really quick, which hopefully we can. And then also we're going to talk about fixing tan lines in portraits, which it seems like it's complicated, but once you do it a couple times, it's really easy. We're going to go through it a few times, once fairly quickly in the beginning, and then I'll walk step by step really slow so you can take notes if you want to, or you can just watch the rerun and enjoy it. So I'm going to go into share screen into Photoshop. And first image up, the question comes up, why is my filter gallery doing this? Well, what I can tell you is your filter gallery has two filters going right now, which are the texturizer and the glowing edges right there. Those are the two filters that come up. And probably what happens is, I'll show it on this picture, you go to filter, filter gallery, and whatever your last filters were is what is actually showing up right away. The fastest way to fix it, get rid of those. So I'll highlight one, click on trash, highlight the other, and hopefully if I do something different, it will change. Yeah, it changed it. And so every time I go through and bring up filter gallery, that's going to happen. Well, we can do this. Okay. So does that answer your question, Sandra? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I found out after I emailed you. I didn't know there was a place you could add filters together. I didn't know that.
That's one of the new things they've done probably in 2019 or 2018. They added that in there. So I did that on the air so everybody would be able to see and know what's going on when it happens to them, because it is going to happen to you. So let's close that one. Yeah.
Michael, how do you use two filters like that? I didn't know you could even do that.
Okay, let's go to filter gallery. Oops, I don't want to do it on that one. Let me close this one out first. Don't save. Go back to Amelia. We'll go to filter gallery. Trash can that one. Turn off that one. Okay, I'm going to add, let's say, dry brush. Turn on the eye so it does it. Wow. Okay, now I can see it. I got dry brush already committed there. If I hit another filter, it's not going to do that. So I'll hit dry brush again. Add dry brush. There we go. And then add rough pastels. And then I'm going to add another filter. So I hit the plus sign at the bottom on the bottom right.
Oh, okay.
And then hit glowing edges. That is exactly what I wanted it to look like. Okay.
Thank you.
You betcha. Any other questions on that one? Okay, I had this image sent to me. The photographer was asking about any way to fix it. Number one, shoot it in Camera Raw. Camera Raw is going to help you a whole bunch. I'm going to fix it in Camera Raw, but it won't have all the detail available to it that you can normally work with in the original Camera Raw part. So I'll go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump up the shadows because I'm assuming you want to see the face a little bit more. So if you bump the shadows up, that helps a whole lot. In fact, first I'll hit Auto, which is my first thing I do, and that bumps up everything a little bit, and then bump the shadows even more. And that actually took care of most of it. You can also go to your adjustment brush and paint in the face area, and then bring your exposure up just a little bit more as well. And that helps a whole lot as well. So hopefully that answers your question, Lucy, about that. Is that what you're hoping to do, is fix the face? Okay, we got that. Any questions from anybody else? Ding.
Would you have done a mask or something on that if you wanted? In other words, lighten the whole thing and then use a mask to mask it out?
Yeah, you could do that. Let me see.
You're not doing your thing. Because I'm on maybe.
There's a couple of ways to do it. You can mask the face out. One way would be quick mask. Just hit Q for quick mask, B for brush. And then that's your selection. Then go to Camera Raw filter and do the same thing again. Actually, I need to invert it. Command Shift I to invert. Camera Raw filter. And it only does that area which you wanted. Another thing, do you know that if you hit Command or Control F, that it will redo the filter that you just did? And if you do it too many times, it makes it really bad. Command W, don't save. Go back into Photoshop, and we'll try it again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start over, if nobody objects.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
cool.
Fine.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to change the tan all the way down through the foot. So we're going to get the color sampler tool from the left-hand toolbar, which is in the eyedropper tool. Halfway down, it says color sampler tool. Click on that. The first click is going to be in the tan area, the part that we want to keep. So I'll click there. And the second area is going to be clicked in the foot area where we want to fix. And you can see the dots there. Can everybody see the dots there?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm trying to watch on my laptop while I'm doing this. Okay. We're going to go to layers, down to add a curves adjustment layer. And we got that part done. We're going to take and make sure that this little finger, which is the image control, we're going to click on that to make sure it's highlighted. And I'm going to Command Shift or Control Shift and click on the area to be fixed. So right where number 2 is, I'm going to click on Command Control, click on that. And you can see that it had a dot where, right in that area of the selection that I did. So I'm going to open up the info palette, which is already here on my screen, or you can go up to Window, Info. I'm going to slide it out so it's separate, and then I'm going to have my properties open for the curves panel. On the info panel, you see down in the bottom section, the bottom box says number 1 and number 2. Number 1 says red should be 165, and in number 2 it says it's 186. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the curves and fix those. So number 1, we click on from RGB, we're going to click on the red, and it says 184. I want to make the output go to 165. And you're going, holy cow, that made it all nice and ugly and green. Don't panic yet. Wait. We're going to go to the green. The green should be 137, and it's at 178. Way off. 137. Oh, that's getting even better. And last but not least, let's go to blue. And the blue should be 123. It's at 166. So we'll go 1, 2, 3 in the output. And there you have it. It's not fixed.
It's not fixed.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my curves adjustment layer where I have my mask. I am going to go Command I, which inverts the mask. And I've gone back to, oh, nothing. That's okay. I'm going to paint it in with white. I'm going to get my brush tool, and I'm actually going to break out my Wacom tablet for this one so that I can get accurate and do it good. So let's zoom in a little bit more, move it up. Brush, opacity, I'm going to set to, say, 20%. Let's make it 40%. What the heck? And make my brush a little bit smaller.
Oh my gosh.
And because of the different colors of the skin and the different textures, you'll see that it gets a little awkward there. If I paint outside the lines, like right in this area here, I just hit the X key, which paints with white to paint it back. And I'll go to the other foot.
And
There
you're
it
using
is.
normal, you're not doing color, you're using normal as
I'm
the-
using normal at 40% opacity. And I want to paint with white. And Prowler Hill, I didn't need to do as much as I did, but if you didn't know, let me take out the numbers so you don't have to look at those. Whoops. Go to view, extras, get rid of extras. Okay. If you didn't know what we did, if you didn't know it was there, I could probably brush in a little bit more color right here. But if you didn't know that she had the tan lines, would you have noticed that? Probably not.
No.
No, probably not.
Probably not. But now that you know that we did,
You can
it's still
see
hard to tell. So I'm going to close Morgan out.
But
Goodbye,
you
Morgan.
also made her skirt the same color as her jacket?
You want?
No,
Okay,
don't
let's.
do it. I'm saying, would that be a possibility too?
It would be a challenge because if you're painting color mode, let's go ahead and take my magic wand and get the skirt selected. And I'm going to bring that up on its own layer. So Command J to do that selection. And we have a skirt. And I'm going to Command click on the layer thumbnail right there. And what that does is gives me a selection so that I can start painting with. So I'll go to B for brush. I will option click on her shoulder right here. And with the brush, you don't have to go to the eyedropper and pick out where you want to do it. You can option click or alt click to do that. So I now have a brush color, I have a color selected on the left-hand side. I'm going to take my mode of brush down to color. And it may not do it because color doesn't work very well on white. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do it at 40% again. Yeah, you can see it's not. Let's take it up to 100%. It's not bringing in the color because it's white. So what I would have to do is leave it in regular normal mode. and then bring the opacity down.
Try multiply.
Yeah, we could try that. I'll just change the layer to multiply. Bring up the opacity.
Fucked up.
Not great, but not, nah, I don't like it.
I figured it would be difficult because the white would overpower it.
So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is desaturate that layer. So let's do a hue and saturation. I'm going to option click between the two layers so it creates a clipping mask. And we'll take the saturation down to gray. Make a new layer and option click on, I'm sorry, control click on there, which gets me my selection back again. Go to B for brush. We're going to select the light blue again and change my color mode back to, you can do it with the brush or you can do it in the layer style up there. Yeah, it's still,
So, okay.
Color blocks it up.
it blocks it up. So
Yeah.
I would have to play with it and figure out what I was doing to,
That's it.
I don't think there was enough detail in it. We probably would have needed to darken it down first. Yeah.
do color burn.
looks
And
better.
then, yeah, color burn looks better, but to get the match,
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
I could probably do a hue and saturation. And again, create a clipping mask so it only does that layer.
Yeah, pretty close.
And you do the hue and saturation to get the hue the right color.
Yeah.
Off the cuff, that's about the fastest I can do. So
I occasionally will reprocess a raw file, change the colors in the second version, then overlay and erase.
good idea. That'll work too. Because you can, with the two raw files, when you overlay it, it puts them right on top of each other.
Right.
So you
It's real easy to
there.
erase down to the other color.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do the tan lines again. This one is a tennis player. And of course, we got to work with the feet, right? So this time I'll go a little bit slower so that we can take notes if you like, because you may not want to watch this video again after everything that's happened. So
Last week.
we're going to go to the color picker,
3 or 4
color sampler tool. And I'm going to click on number 1, the good area, and number 2, the area they want to fix. So we have a 1 and a 2, as Dave Cross says. 1 is the good area, 2 is where you got to fix. We're going to add a curves adjustment layer. So the yin and yang symbol down here, go down to curves. And this is where it gets tricky. You got to remember to click on the little finger right here, which is the image control. Click, and it's ready to go. At this point, Command Shift, or if you're a PC user, Control Shift, and click on the area you want to fix. Whew. With the info palette, you can see what you got to fix down here in the number 1 and the number 2. So you can all see that down there. So I'm going to go to red, and I'm going to change from, it's at 194. I don't know why it's at 194, but we want to make it 172. 172. The green, we want to make it 159. So we go 59. And in the blue, looking down here, we want to make it 157. 157. And that makes it perfect. So minimize that. I don't need that anymore. Invert the mask from white to black. And when you do that, you just hit Command I, and it goes back to the way it is. At this point, you're going to paint in what you want to paint. So you hit your B for brush, white is selected, normal, and then opacity. I do it at 40 or 50%, and it's plenty for that. You can always add more if you want to. If you do it at 100%, let's put it at 100% so you can see what it does. 100% makes it like ugly dark. And then you can drag your opacity back, but then you're playing with the opacity trying to fix it. So let's go backwards. And we're going to put it at 40%. And all I have to do right now is hit 4, which bring up the opacity to 40%. You don't have to go up here and drag the slider back and forth. You just hit 4. And I'm using my Wacom tablet so that I'm fairly accurate with what I'm doing. Use a soft edge brush. And if you have to put a second coat on, that's fine. You're just painting. Sometimes a second coat is necessary to get rid of everything. If you do too much, like it's a little bit dark on the toe right here, I just hit X to paint with white. And I'm still at 40% painting it out. And I can also paint her shoulder, which has a little bit of a tan line as well. I need to paint with white so it does something. If your brush is not working, check to see what colors you have going on. If that doesn't work, go up to the top toolbar to make sure what colors you have going on or what's up on the toolbar. When something doesn't work, the toolbar will tell you. So let's go to View, Extras, get rid of those. And you can see that the tan is just about fixed. Nobody would ever know that you fixed it if you didn't point it out to them. So are the questions on that?
Michael, would you do something a second there? Turn off the layer mask. I just want to see something. I was kind of wondering what would happen without doing the painting in on the mask if you just switch that over to the darken mode.
Without the mask?
Yeah, turn the mask off and then switch to a darken mode.
Okay.
And then you may have to pull back your opacity some because it looks, yeah, it's darkening everything.
It darkens everything. And with the mask, what that does, go back to normal, it just paints in what you want to paint in.
I like what it did to the background though.
The darken mode?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's make Command J of that one. Get rid of the mask. In fact, let's clear the mask out altogether. Delete mask. And let's go ahead and add a layer mask. And let's see, B for brush, add 100%. Not too much. Let's go with 40%.
Really? Better.
And you can paint in the areas that you want to paint in.
You might do a select subject.
Yeah, that would work as well. But just doing it really quick, which I wouldn't do for a client, I would actually go in and work it a lot. Just enough to,
Jeannie, just Alt or Option click.
Thank you.
in fact, I would probably bring her back just a little. I like how it darkens the background though. That's a good idea. Made it more beautiful. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, you're quite welcome. About time I come up with something positive, huh?
I expect nothing but that from you every time now. Okay. Anybody have any questions that they want answered? I was pretty much making it a short time this time.
Mike, did you see the question, what's the shortcut to turn off layer mask?
I did not see that, but I'll be happy to tell you. You put a big red X in it.
Someone told me that it was Option click,
No, it's shift click.
Shift click.
Shift
Oh,
click
man,
will
I
turn.
was wrong again.
Uh-oh.
Mm,
If you shift click, it will turn it off. If you option click, it will show you what you're painting or what you've painted.
Oh,
If you command click, it'll select what you've done. So command D to deselect, option click, shift click.
those are great to know.
They are great to know because you will use them occasionally and they work fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Now is the time to ask.
Did you figure out if there was anything new in the Photoshop update that came yesterday, or that I saw yesterday anyway?
I haven't seen an update yet.
Oh, okay. I saw one yesterday.
Ah, update available. Okay.
Photoshop Bridge, not Lightroom.
They're probably fixing, let me get out of there. They're
I think
probably,
one thing I said, mentioned third-party things like possibly your NIC issues you've been having.
oh, I've been having a lot of issues with Nick, and they might be fixing those or fixing other glitches that I've seen going on. A lot of people are emailing me questions about how to fix this. I'm like, I don't know. This last update really caused a lot of issues for a lot of people. So the tan line fix you can also use for fixing colors in walls. So if you want to have somebody calling me a dog. If you want to fix a patch in a wall that you got to fix, the tan line will work as well. So you can do that technique to fix it. Other questions? No questions? Okay, let's do something really quick just for fun. Whoops. Don't save. Let's go back. I'm going to share my screen in just a second. Share screen, Photoshop. Okay, I photographed this nice lady at West Coast School a few years ago, long time ago. Notice the color in here is kind of a little over warm. And I shot this in RAW. So I'm going to go to the basic white balance, which you can do auto. And auto works very well. Or you can also go back to add a shot, click on the eyedropper tool, which is a white balance tool, which used to be in the top of the toolbar, and click on an area that should be gray or white. And I'm thinking I like auto a little bit better because it's just a little bit warmer. The The flash kind of overpowered the ceiling a little bit, so we'll go to our graduated filter on the right-hand side. Looks like a gradient. I'm just going to drop the exposure down. Let's say 1%, and just kind of drag it down to cover the ceiling a little bit. You can also add a gradient from the side. And I want to add another gradient. Let's add another gradient from the side. I think I want to darken down the top one, so I got to find where that one is, that little dot right there, and bring it down just a little bit more, bring the highlights down a little bit, and click open. Screen sharing stopped as the shared window is closed. Okay, we'll try it again. There we go. We're back in it. Okay, a couple of things that really bothered me about this image. Number one, in the ceiling, you got all these little distractions here and there. A couple of ways to do it. One is to lasso it and go to Edit, Fill, Content Aware Fill, Command D to deselect. It did an okay job. I have an action that I wrote. I think I've shared it with anybody that wanted it. I hit F3 and it does the same thing, all the steps for you. And somebody asked me one time, well, why do you have an action if you're just going to do things that quick? Why not just go through the steps? Well, I don't want to do the steps over and over and over.
Isn't it just Shift F5?
You can do Shift F5, I believe, which will get you fill. Content aware is not there. Oh, because I have nothing selected. So you have to do the selection, which I do the selection, but if I hit F3, I don't have to deselect or anything like that. And if anybody wants the action, I would be glad to give it to you for $14.95 plus shipping and handling. Actually, it's free. All you got to do is email me and I'll be happy to share it with you. It's just that quick to go in and get rid of the things that you don't want.
Michael,
Yes.
as you worked on changing the color temperature of the background, you still have the issue of the color temperature of the flash on the ceiling is very
Right.
dramatic. There's a way to, with the neutral or with the gray that you put in, it darkened it, but still left the color as very cool. Is there a way to adjust it like you did for the tan lines?
Probably what we could do is go to color lookup table, and I want to make it warmer. So let's try warm. Okay, that warmed it there. And I have a mask on there, so I'll just go to my gradient tool, G for gradient tool. And it warmed it a little bit. And that was a little too much because I added another one by Control J or Command J. So I'll just kind of back the opacity down just a little bit so it's not as warm. But you can see just using the color lookup tool, which is in the same stack as the brightness, contrast, curves, and all that stuff. It's called color lookup. And you can change the look of the whole scene. So if you want to make it nighttime, go to moonlight or night from day. And then you can adjust it accordingly how you want to do it. The color lookup tables are really cool for helping out there.
How about cropping the image so that we just have the stairs and the nice lady?
We can do that. Let's say 8x10 crop, which is the most common crop that we do.
Yeah. Even more, you need to get the ceiling out of the picture.
Yeah, I was planning to. I just needed to. My crop tool got outside.
Yeah. Better.
And I want to make sure that's nice and straight. So I'll take my straightening tool, which is in the crop,
Yeah. It's
drag it
almost
across here.
just a little bit. Yeah. I don't know.
But then this is off a
Okay.
little bit. So
Yeah.
Would you want to put the cropping or that against the lines that are behind
Yeah,
her on the floor?
Straighten the floor, not the ceiling. Yeah.
yeah, we can do that. Go back into crop again.
The lines on the floor.
So which line you want to pick?
The one right above her knee.
Right above her knee. This one right here.
Yes.
It'd help if I clicked right on the line.
That's okay. Yeah, that's better.
Cool.
The ceiling looks crooked, but that's okay because it's in the background. It's the
Yeah.
foreground that's most important.
And what I'll do is go to Color Effects Pro. Hang on, let me. I'm going to do a Command Shift Option E, which is going to add a new layer at the top, which took care of everything. And I turned off my Color Effects Pro. I don't want HDR. Where's Color Effects? Help me, Larry, help me.
You under file
Yeah,
or full or
Automated.
filters? Should be under filters, shouldn't it?
that would work too, yeah.
Oh,
Cancel, go away.
yeah.
Let's try filter. Yeah. I was trying to bring up the whole stack, but that's okay. I always get in trouble trying to outsmart
There you
myself.
go.
Go to darken light and center.
Yeah, I would drop the luminosity of the background and bring her forward in brightness or luminosity. Because she's wearing dark color, so she appears to be hiding.
Yeah.
So you want your eye to go right to her and not to any of the light in the background. Yeah. Even more. Maybe vignette. Yeah.
Yeah, I did vignette at the bottom as well.
Yeah.
It just shows you how fast you can take things out that you don't need. And as I'm looking at this, there's a light switch that I don't like.
Yeah.
Goodbye, light switch.
Picky, picky.
Well, it's just the little things that print competition judges will
Yeah.
yell at you about.
Right.
and bring out some of the texture in her clothing so you can see her parts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I'd add a little bit of tan to her shoulders to tan her up a little bit
Yeah, she's
to kind of
really
match her
dark.
face. And then I'd also do brain fart.
A little softening on her face.
Yeah, a little softening.
Yeah.
Color Effects
Cosmetic.
Pro. We'll go to Dynamic Skin Softener.
Wow.
Dynamic Skin Softener. I'll take the color picker, click on her face, which selects the color that I want to soften. And with this, unlike some of the okay, this is one of the problems I have running Nick with Photoshop 2020. You see the box over here on the left?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's doing that, but it does.
It's like a picker.
It's like a picker, but I can't do anything now.
Oh,
Hopefully, once you take the upgrade, this will be cured.
I'm hoping.
yeah.
Yeah, it don't
Yeah.
want to play now.
Something's wrong.
So we'll stop sharing. Okay.
Yeah, there may be screen problems that the software doesn't like.
Something's happening there. I know that. Okay. Any other questions? Today's kind of a short day.
Yeah, Michael, can I ask you a question?
No?
With this, I'm still going to ask you.
You didn't say please.
Please,
Okay.
how about that? In the new version 2020, when you go into Camera Raw and pick out your gradient filter or radial filter, and if you want to apply the next one, in the old one you had to go to new. Now you don't have the new anymore. Once you applied one gradient, you wanted to make another gradient, you had to go to new. With
Okay,
this new version, I don't see that new anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't say a new there either. Don't save. Goodbye. I'm going to share my screen just a second. Share screen. Photoshop. Okay, so if I added a gradient, we already did a gradient. Let's clear everything out. Reset to default. There we go. So I'm going to add a gradient to the top. And if I click and grab another one from the right, you don't have to do new.
So you don't have to do new, keep on adding as many as you want.
You keep adding as many as you want, which is totally weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, this is on Camera Raw. Now, I
This
think
is
it's different when you're in just in Photoshop itself.
That's correct. Okay, let me reshare. So if I still got that block there for some reason. Let me open up a different image. I'm gonna, okay. Every time I open up a new image, her picture comes up. So let's quit Photoshop. Stop sharing for a second. Plus Zoom doesn't like to play with bridge, so. Share screen again. Loading payment information. I don't need to pay. You guys have screwed it up. Okay, so if I add a gradient, G for gradient, drag it down.
We can't see your screen.
We're not seeing your screen, Michael.
Well, that's a good thing because it just screwed up. So
We're seeing your picture.
yeah. Share screen, Photoshop. Now you got it. Okay, let's do gradient, and we're going to go basics. If you haven't looked at your gradient editor lately, take a look. They've added a whole bunch of junk to it. So I'm going to, you can see that if you just drag one way or the other, it's going to do that. So let's go back to history and go to open, layers, Command J, and then let's make it funky colored. There we go.
Is that Harris Grade?
That is Harris Grade Road. That's a sheriff's substation there. So if I add a mask, you can see some of it comes back, but if I drag it again, it takes on a different area. And even if I hold the shift key, it won't give me a new mask. So I don't know the answer to that one.
They behave differently between the two.
Right.
Michael,
And go ahead.
Were you showing the things about Aurora HDR earlier this week? Or was that another web I watched?
I don't know if I showed Aurora or not.
It wasn't Hammond. It was Hammond.
It might have been Dennis, yeah.
Yeah.
But Aurora software is like wicked cool.
Yeah.
This is Aurora HDR. I'm gonna bring it up really quick.
Tonight at 7 p.m. at SIPA, there is somebody doing a seminar on Aurora.
That's right. If you can put the link in there to share with everybody, that'd be really cool. If you have the link, Yogi.
So let me
But
find
you
it.
can go in and just click on what you want to do. You can have different collections available, like warm landscape can change the color dramatically. I use that one a lot for landscapes. Realistic landscape. You can go into some of these.
We're just seeing the Photoshop window, by the way.
Okay, well, let's fix that then. Hang on. Share screen, we'll do desktop. That way you can see everything.
Yeah.
The one thing about Aurora, let me get this out of the way because I can't see. You got HDR look 1, HDR look 2. When you start doing HDR looks, you will notice your dust sensor problem immediately. I don't know if you can see a lot of the spots on there.
Yes.
But it emphasizes your dots.
Yeah.
So cancel the changes.
So what I noticed right away is that it's it has the lean back appearance. It needs to be straightened.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to fix on this image. I was just showing you Aurora HDR and then also the gradient tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Speaker showed something very fun to find the dust spots.
In Camera Raw?
No, just going into a curves layer. And then what you do is instead of going with a straight line, you convert that into a sine wave that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It gives you absolutely wild colors, but typically the dust spots show up very dramatically.
Another way is in Camera Raw. I'll bring up a Camera Raw filter. And you go to spot removal or hit B for spot removal brush. And there's a spot right here. You click on visualize spots.
Ah, okay.
And that will I'll do the visualize spots now. It also brings up your brush to fix it. And all you have to do is click on them.
Have you tried using the filter in Photoshop that is like dust spot removal?
I haven't tried it on these kind of dust spots. You can see that work there using the Camera Raw filter. Let's go back. Okay. Filter, noise, dust and scratches.
Yeah. I was wondering if it'd work on something like this.
The radius. The bad thing is what it does, it blurs pretty heavy if you start taking it up too high. You can see the step before, and then add dust and scratches, and it blurred that telephone pole something fierce and didn't take out the dust and scratches. So it does a lot of blurring. But I'm willing to try anything.